All right. Can y'all hear me now? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys could hear me now. Okay. All right. So, uh, can y'all hear me now? How about now on the gram?
It's delayed on the gram.
Okay. Huh?
It's delayed on the gram.
Okay.
It's like 1 minute.
All right. Making sure that you guys could hear me. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. I'm Anthony Glenn. I'm a buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. Okay. Welcome to the show. Let me talk to you guys about what I got going on. Okay. So there I was. Let me tell y'all a quick story. So in the past couple of days, we've had a crazy, crazy, you know, travel arrangement. As you can see, I got all types of wires on my body. Shout out to Anthony and Alexis for rocking out with me. Okay. And I just want to come to you guys from North Carolina and tell you guys what I've been doing, what I've been up to for the past couple of days. Okay. So we traveled out here. Okay. So there I was flying from San Diego. Okay. Come here. Come say what's up. Okay. So these guys got me all turned up in the airport lounge, and we ended up missing our damn plane. So we had to drive from Atlanta to North Carolina to get here on time to teach 862 veterans about the VA home loan benefit. And now I am currently sitting in the hotel lobby, and I want to come live to you guys and talk about some real estate stuff, man. So who's ready for me to rock out? What's up, Otis? I see you on Instagram, and I'm live on TikTok, guys. I'm going to straight up kick it. We're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to talk about real estate investing 101. So I'm going to put a phone number in the chat, 760. I'm typing this right now so you guys could get it. All right. So I got a couple of announcements to make. We did break the 4,000 mark on YouTube. And then we also broke the 4,000 mark on our Winning Real Estate Facebook group. So I want to say appreciate you guys for doing that. Is this live in the Facebook group right now? Okay. So right now, I don't know, man. I'm just super excited about having you guys on the show today. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. Today we're going to be talking about real estate investing 101. How you guys could get in the game. How hard is it to get started? I'm going to be answering any questions that you may have today. And I'm just super excited to have you guys on the show. I'm currently live on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and X, right? Yes. So we're live across several social media platforms, and I'm not in the studio, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to get started. So one of the fundamental things that I want to talk about today is I want everybody to put in the chat plan. Put the word plan in the chat. Plan. Okay. Put the word plan in the chat. Okay. And as I'm going through this strategy, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I got started and how you could do the exact same thing too. When I first got started in the real estate industry, I didn't have a plan. I just said, you know what? I want to buy property. And I just got started. And I didn't have any type of, anybody telling me how to get started. I just went for it, right? And one thing that I learned about investing is that I did not have a structure put in place to become an investor. And a couple of things happened with me with that. The first thing, the one of the biggest mistakes that I made is not setting up my corporate structure to have my rental income coming in. So today's topic is going to be talking about number one, how to structure an LLC or S corp or C corp properly. Number two, we're going to be talking about some underwriting strategies for you guys that you guys can leverage. And then number three, how you can partner with a veteran to buy multifamily and single family homes. And then after that, I have a meeting, okay, with Jared he is the CEO of CTTI, and we're going to be talking about how we can expand this thing for and with veterans. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys are ready for me to kick it like a sensei. You guys know, are there any questions about what I'm going to be teaching today and what we're going to be talking about today? Any questions? Put your questions in the chat. All right, so let's get to it. All right, shout out to my TikTokers, man. I got a whopping 3 people on my live right now. Thank you guys for showing up this morning. TikTok's weird, man. I think, you know, sometimes when you're trying to grow, I mean, I have almost 8,000 people on there. I'm almost at 10,000, and it takes a long time for everything to get started. And I can't say phone numbers and stuff on here, so we're gonna be have to communicate in a way to where we don't get shut down. Okay, so let's get started. Number one. Okay, all right. Uh, put a one in the chat if you guys are ready for me to talk about corporate structures and why you want to set up your limited liability companies, S corps or C corps, and the fundamental difference. Because I'm going to start teaching right now. Okay, let's see here. All right, chatter folk here too. What up, Coach? I see you. All right, all right. So, okay, can you explain a partnership? Okay, okay. So the first question that I have is, can you explain a partnership? Okay, so any partnerships that you have, I want you guys to put these in the chat because I'm going to be rocking out and I'm going to be kicking a lot of information. So make sure that you guys are rocking out with me because as I'm going through this process, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. It's going to be unorthodox for you guys. So I want to make sure that you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, so um, here's the first thing that I'm going to talk about. When you start your plan, and the reason why your administrative part is so critical to structuring your business is because if you when you bring in partners in the company, you want to know a couple of things. Number one, everybody put the word disputes. Disputes. Disputes in the chat. Put disputes in the chat. Disputes. Okay. How do you handle disputes? Okay. Well, that's called that you want to handle disputes in an operating agreement. So everybody put operating agreement in the chat. Okay. Within that operating agreement, that's documentation that an attorney can put together when you're establishing partnerships. And that means if let's just say that me and one of you guys decided that we wanted to start buy a piece of real estate, a single family home or a multifamily. You want to know whose responsibility is what. Now, let's just say that property we bought at 500,000, and then the property increased in value $100,000, and you came on hard times, and then you wanted to take your $50,000 of your share out of the property. Well, how do you make that decision? Somebody tell me how you make that decision. How would I make that decision if I wanted to take money out of the property? What would I have to do in order to get that money out of the property? What are one of the fundamental things that you would have to do? Well, one person wants to take the money out, the other person doesn't want to take the money out. So how do you figure that out? Well, in that operating agreement, there's something called a mediation clause. Everybody put mediation clause in the chat right now. Mediation clause. Mediation clause. Okay. So within that mediation clause, that means that you guys, in the event that there's something that you guys want to do, you want that operating agreement to basically say who's responsible for what, how do you handle disputes. I'll give you an example. In my clause, right? I basically show um, some of the things that should be in the company agreement and some of the things that are all of the things that are within the company agreement. I'll give you an example. So in the event I'm in a partnership with one of the people that's in the office, and it says in the event of any type of administrative discourse, each partner would have to hire a mediator, and then if the mediator doesn't work, they would have to arbitrate. Everybody put arbitrate, arbitration clause. So within your operating agreement, you would want to have a mediation clause and an arbitration clause. Both of these are keep you out of court, the court system. And then if any person exits out of the agreement, you also want to put an anti-smearing clause that will basically say, if we legally do a split within our company, you cannot say anything negative that would hurt my future business. These are like little tight things, okay, that you can put within your company to make sure that everything is good to go. Brittany, did I answer your question? So operating agreement, mediation clause, arbitration clause, anti-smearing clause. That basically says that in the event that there's any type of dispute, And then the last and final thing that you want within the company is that you want one more thing in there. You want a non-compete clause. Everybody put non-compete clause. Non-compete clause. Now, these things, as you're building out now, and this sounds like a lot of stuff. It's just things that you would put within. There's other things that you can put in there. How the money is going to be split, how the revenue is going to be spent, how when the money comes in, who's responsible for taxes. There's a bunch of other nuances. But when you guys are establishing your corporation, you want this in the documentation. So when you bring people into the company, you know, okay, if their name is on the company, they have responsibilities. If they're a member in the LLC, or if they're a member in, if they're a owner within the company, you want to make sure that everything is nice and tight. Because then let's just say that I said, okay, check this out. I want to buy a property with you. And then I found the property and you're going to be responsible for the legal, you're going to be responsible for the mortgage. Now, just because I found the property, you put that person in your company, right? And then you're the only one that's responsible for paying the mortgage. You want that legal documentation that thoroughly says that in the event of default, that both parties are responsible to make sure that you're not the one holding the bag, just in case the deal doesn't work out. So these are things that I have learned. Put a one in the chat if you guys understand what I'm saying, or if this is good information, because I want to make sure it's not going over your head, okay? Put a one in the chat if this is good information. Let me do a quick room reset, okay? Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. This is my travel show. I'm currently in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I just did a VA Loan Masterclass on Camp Lejeune. And then I'll be doing another class tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be rocking out teaching one more class before I head back to California. I actually have to go to Atlanta and check on some stuff, but I wanted to come on here and give you guys some game in regard to corporate structures and talk to you guys about this stuff. And if you guys want information on how to get this, okay, I want you guys to put a one in the chat if you have a pen, because I have to spell it out for you guys, because I can't say it because I don't want to get shut down on Talk Tick. Okay. And for those of you that are on TikTok Live, thank you guys for pulling up. Bang those thumbs, guys, because as long as I'm on here, I'm going to keep kicking nuggets for you guys. And then I'm super excited about having you guys on the show today. So, Brittany, did I answer your question? Okay, out freaking standing. Who else has questions? Okay, so thank you guys. I see you guys that are on Instagram rocking out. So now let's go through how I would buy property today. Okay. All right. Step one, I would write my plan. Okay. Now the plan is going to include certain things like, number one, what is the anchor? What's drawing people to that neighborhood? Okay. Number two, what is scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand of that local location? Those are four things that I have to check off before I invest in any type of real estate or any type of business. Scarcity, transferability, utility, demand. I'll say it again. Scarcity, transferability, utility, demand. These are four things that are essential before I buy any piece of real estate. Okay. If it's checking those four things off, then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to see, okay, now that I figured out this, I'm going to look at, okay, what I'm going to find the property and see what the numbers are on the property. Okay. How much do I need to pay? What are they asking for the property? Okay. Is there any type of improvements that I can do that can increase the revenue? All right. Um, what is the net operating income of the property? NOI, net operating income. Everybody put that in the chat. Okay. And then I can back myself in to see what my capitalization rate is. Okay. My cap rate. Okay. So when I'm doing these things, this is going to help me back in to see if the property is going to be worth it or not. Put a one in the chat if you guys want an example. Okay. And then also, what I also do is now, this is something that I learned that helped me out a lot. I utilize Otis James 4 data points. Okay. Now, once I figure out those data points, now here's one of the main things that I definitely want to tell you guys. Listen, anytime I'm doing any type of business or anything else, I'm not. I always leverage other people to make sure that I'm making the right decision. I'll give you an example. If I have a property that I'm going to sell or something like that, or if I'm going to purchase, I always get a second set of eyes with somebody who's moves in the same game. So typically, I'll use Ian, Bruno. I'll use Constance, okay, who's the mortgage broker, to look over the numbers. And then, every now and then I'll run stuff by Otis if I wanted to learn, see how he would navigate through it, just to give me checks and balances on how I would do things. So shout out to them. And also, guys, I got some exciting news too. Ian Jensen just had new baby, okay? Logan Jensen is her name. So shout out to Logan Jensen, brand new baby girl. So that's why you're not going to see him on the live today. So right now, if you guys are on TikTok, put congratulations in the chat. So when he sees the replays, shout out to Ian for making me um, a new uncle and stuff like that, man. So when we're talking about these things, and walking through everything, we kind of want to see, okay, how what is going to be my exit strategy out of this property? Am I going to keep it? Am I going to sell it? Am I buying it for cash flow? Am I buying it to lower taxable income? All types of other things. There's multiple things that you guys could do when you're buying real estate. It just depends on what your strategy is when you're investing. Okay. Now, who has questions about some of the things that I look for when I'm investing in real estate? Who has questions? All right, TikTok, get the shares up. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm looking all over the place is because I got YouTube here, I got Instagram right here, I got TikTok right here on my left. So it is a little awkward, but you know what? We're going to rock it out, guys. Who has questions that they would like to propose to the stage right now? Who has real estate questions they would like to ask? Any questions? Now, okay, so I have a question for you. Is the real estate market going to crash? Put a one in the chat if you believe yes. Put a two in the chat if you believe no. Will lowering the interest rates crash the real estate market? Can you do 100% cash out refinance on a rental? Depends on what type. No, you can't. So it depends. So if you have typically the VA likes for you to the VA. What type of loan are you talking about, Frederick Sullivan? So, okay, so the 100% cash out refinance on rental properties, if it's a VA loan, typically they won't allow you to do that. If you're living in the property, you typically can. Now, if you're doing an interest rate reduction refinance loan, you do not have to live in the property. And I believe Texas is the only state that doesn't allow the cash out refinance. But typically, if you are, it depends on what type of loan that you're using. If it's a VA loan and you live in the property, yes, you can take 100% cash out refinance. If it's a conventional loan or something like that, typically they'll only allow you to take up to sometimes 80%. But it depends on what type of um, loan your original loan was for, and if it's an owner occupant home or an investment property. Okay, so Frederick, where's the property located at? You want to come up, talk to me? I'm gonna invite you up, bro. Okay, so raise your hand and come on stage. Okay, so I'll invite you up to speak. Come on up. Okay, so I'd like for you to ask that question. Okay, so there's other options besides the 100% cash out refinance too. You have the home equity line of credit. the HELOC, right? When you do the pros and cons to both, it just depends on what type of strategy that you're using. Okay, Frederick, I invited you up, brother. You want to come up? Oh, hold on just a second. Go ahead. Uh huh. How you? Oh, what's up, Latanya? How you doing? That's a great question, by the way. And Latanya, if y'all don't know, Latanya's my sister, y'all. She coming up here with her picture encrypted. This is my sister, y'all. Okay, so you crazy as hell. I was listening. I'm like that voice sounds familiar. Okay, but no, agent health doesn't. It doesn't matter. The only thing that the VA loan cares about, like if let's just say that this is one thing. Well, the only thing that you do have to be careful with, let's just say that you have a grandfather that it has dementia or something like that, and you want to leverage his VA loan to get him into stable housing, and he has income and his ability to repay. So your income on a joint loan can help him acquire that property. You, as the non-veteran, don't have to live in the property, but the veteran does have to live in the property. But his credit does have to be substantial in order to pay back his. So your credit can't compensate for his lack of credit, but your income can substitute his income for buying that. But the only thing that with the health thing is that if they have a disability or something like that, that's a plus. That helps because if they have disability, then the VA funding fee is waived, which is the insurance that they put on top of the loan. Okay, but if they have any type of disability to where they're incompetent, then that's going to require either a doctor or a caregiver or some type of legal documentation to make sure that they are in sound mind for them to be signing on any type of legal documents. Did I answer your question? Fantastic. Well, hang around and listen to your brother rock out, and I appreciate you for pulling up. And make sure y'all follow Latanya on TikTok. This is my sister. Okay, she crazy as hell, but she's fun. I need to when I get back home, I'll come see y'all. Okay, love you. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming up. Who has questions? Who else has questions that they would like to propose to the stage? Okay. I see Max One Elite Realtors. I see you. Anybody else have questions that they would like to propose to me? Okay. And shout out to all of my TikTokers for being on here. Make sure you're banging those thumbs. The rules of engagement on TikTok is for every 5 shares, 1,000 likes, to unlock another investment nugget. And the reason why I come on here and I go live and I communicate with you guys is because I want you guys to be able to have the confidence to be able to invest in real estate. I didn't. I had to make a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, and now I'm doing what I do best. Okay. Otis says residential or multifamily. Ooh, I love this one. Okay. All right. So, Otis, you already know this is my jam. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a little house. Okay. I'm gonna draw 2 houses. Okay. Now, this is gonna be single family home, and this is gonna be residential. Okay. Now, one property has a family. So I'm gonna draw a little family on here so you guys can see. Okay. And they got 2 little chicken nuggets, right? Two, family of 4. Okay. All right. They have 1 door. Okay. All right. So this is the single family home. Everybody can see that, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see this. Okay. I like to draw. You're going to laugh at my little art, right? But okay, now you have, let's just say they're paying you guys the rent. is, uh, let's just say $3,000 a month on both properties. Okay. So now this property has, this is a fourplex. Okay. Now, what's up, Daniel? Come up, man, so I can get you some followers. Okay. This property has one tenant. This property has, this property over here has a family of four. Okay. Okay. This property right here is a single family home. Now they're both paying rent. Okay. Now I decide that I want to raise the rent $1,000 on the single family home. Okay. With everything that's going on right now, that $1,000 is not high enough. And I'm breaking this down so everybody can understand it shotgun style, so they can understand which one I would pick. Okay. Now remember, they're both getting the same amount of revenue for rent. $3,000 times 12 is what? Can anybody tell me what that is? What's up, Daniel? 3,000 times 12. What you got? Help me out. What we got? $3,000 times 12. What you got? Oh, you can use the calculator. Take your time. What is 3,000 times 12? As he's giving me that answer, I'm gonna show you the fundamental difference between the two. Now remember, I raised the rent on the single family home $1,000. Okay, so $1,000 times 12 equals 1,200. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I raised the rent $100. I raised the rent $100 times 12. That means that I get $1,200 of profit if I raise the rent $100, right? But let's just say that the pros to that is that the tenant might stay and they might get that $100. The cons to that is that they might move out and I have something called vacancy loss. So vacancy loss essentially means that when a person moves out, okay, that means that I have, 3 months, 2 months, depending on how long it takes for me to get the carpet and paint done on the single family home. So those 3 months, I'm not getting any rent. Now let's just say, Craig, the husband, loses his job. Boom. And then now they're hanging out in the house and I have to evict them. And they're in a tenant friendly state like New York. And then now I can't evict those people and they're just staying in my property and there's no relief. Now I have several months to where I'm not getting any rent. So that's the con to buying single family home investment properties, is because there's a ceiling on how much rent that I could charge based off of the demand for the market. Okay. Now let's go over to the multifamily. Okay. And I like breaking this down so people got it. I have the multifamily property. Okay. Both properties, remember, this is a fourplex and a single family home. That means it's 4 doors. This is a multifamily. And then I raised the rent $75 per door. Now, remember, I raised the rent less than the single family home. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are following me, because I want you guys to see this step by step so you can understand why multifamily is such a great asset to invest in. Okay, now the fourplex, 75 times 4 equals what? $300, right? $300 times 12 months equals $3,600. Now, do you want $3,600 of rental income, or do you want $1,200 of rental income increase? This is the fundamental difference between multifamily and single family homes. Now, when you get into the big leagues to where you have, let's just say you have 10 doors, okay? Or you getting into the commercial sector, right? Let's just say this was a mixed use property and then you got a 12 unit and a business unit. Now, okay, when you have this unit, it applies even better because this commercial real estate, I have more units, okay? Now, let's just say on this multifamily right here that I have, one of these properties, 2 of these properties go vacant. I'm still drawing revenue from the rest of the units. Okay. So when you're looking at this stuff and you're looking at multifamily, now what are some of the things that I can do? Um, Otis always talks about vending machines. I can draw more revenue from vending machines. Okay. I can do premium parking. Okay. I can do premium lots. I could charge more money for first floor units, right? I can charge money for after hours gym access. I can do so many things with increasing the revenue on a multifamily versus a single family home. Now, in some cases, are multifamily more expensive for the barrier of entry? Absolutely. But did you guys know that it's easier to get commercial real estate loans as long as you have your administrative stuff together? Okay. Yes, you could charge for laundry. Okay. You could charge for, you could charge so much stuff for multifamily. Now, imagine if all of these people, some of these people, you had upcharge for pets. Okay. So now when you start talking about this stuff, you start looking at this stuff, you're like, okay. Now remember, let me recap, guys. Put a one in the chat if you guys want me to recap what I just said. Single family homes versus multifamily, right? We're talking about that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. I hope you guys are liking this conversation. Okay, I am a real estate broker, a hold investor. I typically will buy properties and keep them. I seldomly sell properties now. I like to keep them to lower my taxable income. And we're going to talk about some of the ways of why real estate is important to have it in your portfolio so you guys can use the law of depreciation. Okay. And then also, if you guys want to connect with me, there's a way to connect with me, and I'll share that information in the chat. Who has questions or comments that they would like to propose to the stage before I keep going? Who has questions? I'm talking to myself. Come on up, y'all. Come hang out with me. All right. So now, who has questions or comments that they would like to propose to me? What questions do you have? Okay. How do you know if a property is a good investment? The math. If once you know the math, it's easy. Okay. The math. When you start learning the math, it's pretty easy to do. Okay. So the overall goal is to buy property, the cash flow, right? And what's canceling people out in today's market? Some of the main things are taxes and insurance are why people are getting killed in real estate right now. That's why people are having a hard time, right? If you know the math and you do your inspections, if you can get through that phase, then you'll be able to figure out if a property is worth buying or not. What's going to be demand for that property? What location is it in? What's the square foot? What's the bedroom, bathroom count? How much rental income can be accrued from acquiring the property? And then you'll reverse engineer backing your way in to see if it makes sense on the purchase. Okay. So again, it's pretty simple things when you're looking to invest. You just got to know the way to do it. And that's why the plan is important. People will go say, oh, I like this house. I like the location. I like the bedroom, bathroom count. I want to get it. Here's one thing I will always tell any investor to do. Never, ever, 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 ever. Everybody put ever in the chat. Never, never, ever, ever, ever buy a property, underwriting a property off of an Airbnb strategy. Never. Always get a property based off of the fair market rent because you never know what the city is going to do to get to do the change the rules and regulations to Airbnb, right? So, and then again, you always want to leave a little bit of wiggle room in there when you guys are buying investment properties also. And I never take all of the equity out of my properties either. And when you're buying commercial and residential real estate, the fundamental difference is that single family homes are evaluated based off of the comparable sales in the neighborhood. Uh, Multifamilies is considered or underwritten based off of how much revenue the property can generate. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. This is the Win in Real Estate Show. Put a one in the chat if you guys are liking what I'm kicking. But let me give you a recap of what I talked about so far. We talked about the administrative stuff and setting up your corporation. We're going to deep dive into making sure how I'll show you an example of how I leverage my corporations to buy real estate. Okay, we talked about the fundamental difference between single family homes and multifamily. It just depends on which ones that you guys like the best. So I like both. You know, I have single family homes. That's how I got started, and then I got into, I hate that word transition, man. I graduated to bigger deals as I got more comfortable with doing it. If I could change anything, the biggest mistake that I made with my investment journey is I didn't get into real estate fast enough. I was afraid to get into the multi unit space because of the price point. And if you understand the numbers, it doesn't matter what the price point is. Okay. So I definitely would have got into commercial real estate faster if I would have done anything different. Okay. So who has questions or comments they would like to propose to the stage? Any questions? Okay. I'm gonna keep rocking out. Okay. So now let's talk about. I want everybody to put this acronym: BLOC. BLOC. Okay. Everybody put BLOC. I'm going to explain a couple of things and show you how I have stuff structured. Okay. Okay. BLOC. BLOC. Let's see it. That stands for business line of credit. Okay. So here's what I typically will do. Number one, I acquire the asset. So I purchase the property. That's my first step. Okay. After obviously I do my plan. Now I'm walking you guys through. Obviously my plan is going to be first. The secondary thing that I do is I look for the asset that I want to buy. After I acquire the asset, I immediately set up a corporate structure. Okay. So after I buy the property, then I'm going to get my corporation. Here's why. Once I buy the property and I set up my corporation, then I'm going to open up a business checking and savings account. Then after I open up the business checking and savings account, I'm going to have to start the administrative process to my LLC. Now you guys better be paying attention because I'm going to walk you guys through what to do. Put a one in the chat if you guys want me to walk you through how I, Anthony Glenn, have gotten over $1.2 million of business lines of credit by utilizing this strategy. Okay. Now, okay. Here's the question that I propose to you guys. If you wanted to buy a property, if I said, hey, I want you to lend me $1 million. I have an LLC. Okay. I want to get this business line of credit. What would you want to know about me? Put some of the things in the chat. What are some of the things you would want to know about me, about my business? What would make you want to give me that money or loan me that money? Okay. Just because I go down to the courthouse or I call LegalZoom and I get an LLC. What are some of the things that you would want to know about lending Anthony Glenn II money? How long have you been doing it? That's a good one. What else? Come on, guys. TikTok, guys, get me up to 10 shares right now because I'm going to break down this stuff. If y'all ain't sharing, I ain't caring, man. So bang those thumbs, get me up to 1,000. Get me up to 10 more shares right now on TikTok, guys, and I'm going to break everything down for you guys. Okay? All right? Do I have the ability to repay? Right? Do I have an established business? Do I have a phone number that I call that somebody's going to answer? Do I have reoccurring income coming into the LLC? Okay. Do I have a history of doing business? Do I have a website? Do I have a Google profile? If y'all think for 1 second that banks aren't looking you guys up, y'all are sadly mistaken. So when you establish yourself, they're going to ask you, do you have a company? What's the website? Do you have a phone number? How many employees do you have? What's your projected income? Right? These are all important things. So admin, 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 admin is the most important thing when establishing your limited liability company. If you guys want me to break down the steps, the step by step to get the business line of credit, put a 1 in the chat. Now, if you guys are not engaging, man, I'll just shut down the room because I know this stuff right now. There's a lot of people who want to learn how to do this stuff. And, you can leverage, 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capital. The fundamental pieces of borrowing money. What is the credit? Okay, they want to give me a BLOC, a business line of credit, because I have an established limited liability company. I open up the account, I put money in there. Before I go and apply for the loan, I'm going to make sure my admin is nice and tight. I have a website, I have an address, I have a phone number that somebody answers, I have Google profile with pictures. This is all important. Okay. So now after I establish all of that stuff, right? They look the LLC up. I have money in the bank. I ask the questions. My collateral is going to be the house. Now, when I set up my limited liability company, I am not going to set it up as I'm not going to set up my corporation. Could anybody tell me why I don't want to set up my corporation as a real estate investment company? I'll give you that answer once I get up to 10 shares, TikTok. Okay. There's a reason why you do not want to you do not want to tell the bank that you're setting up your corporation as a real estate company. Okay. All right. Too volatile. Okay. What up, Nick? Come up, Nick, so I can introduce you to the people that are on here. Nick is he's my mortgage, one of my mortgage loan officers in Military Mortgage Group. Shout out to Nick. Nick, I know you got a lot of leads coming in. Nick, tell us how many appointments you got scheduled right now. Okay. Nick's like, what the hell? He's been with us for a couple of months, man, and he's rocking out. Nick, I just sent you an invite. Okay. And then also you owe me a pre-qualification, man. It's been a couple of days. I haven't heard from you. Okay. So when I set up my company, I'm going to set it up as a consulting company. Everybody put the word consulting in the chat. Consulting. Consulting. Okay. So once I establish myself as a consulting company, that is a less volatile. And can you consult with a barbershop? Can you consult with a marketing company? Can you consult with a education company? You can consult with anything. So I'm going to set up my corporation as a consulting company. Okay. And then I'm going to have thorough information on my little landing page. So when they look me up, it looks like I'm an established, thorough business. The tighter your administrative part is, the easier it's going to be for you to get money. Okay. Now going back to this topic. Okay. So step 1, write my business, write the business plan. Step 2, acquire the property. Why are you buying an LLC before you get the property? Get the property if you're getting it in your name, right? And you're using your Social Security, you don't have an established business line of credit. Get the property and then set up your limited liability company. Now, some people say, oh, I buy the property with the LLC. Yeah, you can do that, but I don't keep it in the LLC's name. I'm gonna transfer that property and protect it with a trust. Now, watch the flow of the money, guys. I hope you guys put a 1 in the chat if you can see my little documentation. Okay, so now I have a property and an LLC. That is my collateral. I have 2 forms of collateral. Okay. The credit, they want to give me a business line of credit because I put money in the account. And the capital is going to be the revenue that I have that's coming from the property into the LLC's bank account. So think about it. The tenant moves into the property. The tenant has a contract with the limited liability company, not me as an individual. That's going to give me a barrier of protection. Okay. Now, follow me with this, guys. Tenant moves into the property. Tenant draws a contract with the limited liability company. The limited liability company gets the rent coming in, reoccurring every month. The bank's going to want to give you a BLOC, a business line of credit, because you have multiple money coming into the LLC. Then the LLC now pays you as a member in the multiple member LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think about that strategy? What's up, Nick? How you doing, brother? I'm doing pretty good. Where's my prequel, dog? Okay. Okay, do me a favor, and can you call Connie today and tell me, have her overlook everything, because she might have some creative ways to plus up the income. Okay, do you have a complete file for that one? Okay, fantastic. Okay, all right. Okay, okay, good. Nick, can you let the people know who you are and what you do? Oh, fantastic, man. Nick, man, I'm liking how you coming in with that introduction, man. Okay, Alexis, I'm not. Can you guys hear Nick on Instagram? Were y'all able to hear him? Put a one in the chat if you were able to hear him from TikTok. Okay. Put a two in the chat if you wasn't able to hear him from TikTok. Okay. So we're gonna keep rocking out. So Nick, I appreciate you pulling up. Thank you for coming on the show. Oh yeah, it says no sound. Let's see here. Yeah, get Anthony and tell him there's no sound coming from TikTok. But we'll keep rocking out. Nick, do you think what do you think is going to happen to the market if the interest rates go down real quick? Okay. Yeah, so they say they can't hear you, but basically what he said is that uh, uh, Alexis, did you get Anthony? Okay, so he's coming right now. Sorry about this, guys. I thought that you guys could hear him on coming from TikTok. So basically, I asked Nick, and I'll show you guys what my setup is right now. If you could see this little thing right here, I'm on TikTok at the same time. Okay. The sound is supposed to be coming through, but we're gonna be able to fix it here in a minute. But basically, what Nick said is that anytime the rates go down, that is not good for people that it's not always good, because right now we're still in a bubble to where there's no inventory. So anytime there's an inventory issue, then okay, he said there's no plugins. Okay, why you got me on TikTok? Okay, okay, got you. So basically, what Nick said, guys, for you guys that are on the show, I know you can't hear him, but basically, what he was saying is that you know the um, what's going to happen is anytime there's a lack of inventory and you're getting into the real estate market, and we already are in a seller's market, meaning seller's market means that it's good to sell, buyer's market means that it's good to buy. Okay, very simple explanation. So that means that you want to sell high and buy low. Well, if we're in a seller's market and rates go down, that basically means it's going to drive more buyers to the market, therefore driving the demand of houses up, and that's going to raise the prices. It's good for people who are keeping their properties or they want to sell their properties, but it's not always good for buyers. So you want that sweet spot to where you can get into the real estate industry and win. Now I have a couple of other questions. Let me read these. Nick, make sure you give Nick a follow. Let's see here. Um, we had a couple of other questions on TikTok. Anthony, why not a C corp? Okay, uh, okay, C corps. Eric is my name. Okay, so C corps, when you're structuring the corporation, they all have different types of benefits, right? So, by no means am I a advisor or anything like that, but I don't think that people would need a C corp because when you're buying real estate, unless you have a big company, you don't need that. I think the best number one and two, will be the LLC because of LLC has members and a C and S corp have shareholders. So that basically means if I had a $1 million company, okay, my company's worth $1 million, I get sued, and my C corp owns the property, and I get a lawsuit for 510K. That lawsuit, right, means that 510K, I'm now a majority owner of this $1 million corporation. So I get awarded 51 shares. Now I'm a majority owner in the property. Therefore, I can vote you out of your company. So I like the LLC structure, and I like taking the S corp election for taxes. That's how I would structure. So hopefully I was able to answer your question. Nick, did you want to add anything? Absolutely. He said, so for those of you that are listening on YouTube, he basically was saying that, he likes the LLC structure as well. So let me do the last and final reset. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. I'm Anthony Glenn. I am your host. Who has questions or comments that they would like to propose to Nick and I while we are on here? Okay. So let me see here. What about forming the business in Ukraine, taking advantage of NATO? I'm not going to answer that question. All right. So, let's see here. What other questions do we have? Okay. Put a one in the chat if you guys enjoyed the show. Who's enjoying the show, guys? Let's keep rocking out. Okay. Put a one in the chat if you guys are enjoying the show. Welcome to the Winning Real Estate Show. Thank you guys for pulling up. Make sure you're banging those thumbs, man. We've been going for like a whole hour and we only have 498 likes, guys. That's not cool. So bang those thumbs, get those shares up. And right now, get us up to 10 shares, please. Okay, so let's keep going. What other questions do you guys have about investing in real estate? Who else has questions? Any other questions? Okay. All right. So the last and final thing that are you paying full price on property with a high market? Okay. That's a great question, Mike. That is a really, really, really good question. Okay. So, all right. Now, this is going to be unorthodox of what I'm about to tell you guys. Okay. I like paying the value of the property and getting credits versus getting a price reduction on properties. Okay. So if the market is not good, I like getting a credit on properties. Okay. Everybody put public and private in the chat because this is going to be man, these guys just came in here with some Bojangles, y'all. I'm mad. I'm mad. How y'all going to go get? Okay. So we have our media crew that's here. And these guys just went and got some damn Bojangles. I'm over here starving, hungry as a hostage. And these guys went over there and got some Bojangles. I'm sitting over here, stomach growling. Damn. I see how you guys do me. Okay, guys, if you guys are enjoying the conversation, put a one in the chat. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor. Shout out to Nick, Cardone Veterans Group, Military Mortgage Group, lender. Guys, we're kicking it like a sensei in here, teaching you guys how to invest in real estate. We're going to keep rocking out. So right now, get the shares up. Guys, if you guys want to rock out with us, Nick, can you put 760 hyphen, write this number down, guys, 760. I have to say it like this, 760, 573 hyphen 2731. I'll say it again, 760, 573 2731. Put this in the chat, guys. 760 573 2731. Put it in the chat, please. I'll keep saying it until you put it in the chat. There you go. Okay. All right. So guys, if you guys want to get on a consultation with us, you're going to text WIN to 760 and the rest. You see the rest. I can't say it because I don't want to. I don't want to get. Okay. I don't want to get. Thank you. I don't want to get a banned. Okay. So I have to make sure that I communicate in a way I don't get shut down. 760 573 hyphen 2731, guys. You're gonna text WIN to that, and then you guys can get on a consultation with us for free. And then also we will give you the Facebook group where the replays for this will be live and in color. So guys, this is the last and final thing that we're gonna go over. The next thing that we're gonna talk about, the last and final thing, is partnering with a vet. Let me tell you what you guys missed today. If you guys are just now getting in here, we talked about structuring an LLC. We talked about putting the property in the trust. Oh, I have one more thing that I got to do, guys. I almost forgot. We talked about multifamily versus single family homes and the pros and cons of that. Okay. We also talked about the business line of credit and how to get your LLC structured the correct way. And then this is what I wanted to show you guys. So the tenant pays the LLC. The LLC then pays you as members in in your company, and then the property is not in your name. The property is in a trust. So now the LLC and the property is within the trust. That way you control it, but you don't own it. Okay. This is the way I do my real estate structures. Now, your homework, I want you guys to put this word in the chat. Holding company. Holding company. Holding company. All right. You're going to research that, and the next time I'll talk to you guys about that. But let's talk about the last and final thing, and that's the VA loan, the VA joint loan, VA joint loan. Okay, this is a hack right here. A lot of people don't know that you can partner with a vet to buy real estate. Number one, no minimum credit score. Number two, no maximum loan amount. Number three, 100% cash out refinance. Number four, the interest rate reduction refinance loan. Okay, so these are some of the benefits of partnering with a veteran to utilize the VA loan. When you guys partner with a vet, you get to take advantage of no minimum credit score, no maximum loan amount, 100% cash out refinance, the interest rate reduction refinance loan. And the guy that asked that question, in a hot market, would I pay a maximum price for a property? The answer is yes. And the reason why I pay the maximum amount is because when I close on that property, I want the value to be there. But I would get credits from the seller instead of lowering the price. Now, this is the reason why I want to do that. I would rather get credits because credits are, okay. I'm not, see, they gave me a flag again. Okay, so the reason why I like to reduce the reason why I don't like to reduce the price of the property is because that's public. Everybody sees that I lower the price. Okay. Yes, Eric, you can use the VA loan if you have a VA. You can use the VA loan again. Eric, send me a DM or text, and then I'll hit you up. So if you have you can, here's the beauty of, if let's just say a property is in a hot market, the seller asks me, they say, I want $500,000 for the property. I'm going to say, yes, Mr. Seller, I'm going to give you $500,000 for the property, but I want a concession of $20,000. So, or 30,000. Let's just say the property is, I'm going to give them what they want, but I'm going to ask for credits. Let's just say I said, I'm going to give you $500,000, but I'm going to ask for a concession of $50,000. That means that they're giving me the property for $50,000, but they're giving me a private credit of $50,000. I'm paying $500,000 for the property, I'm getting a $50,000 credit from the seller. That means they're giving me money from their proceeds to buy the house. Here's the beauty of the VA loan. Let's just say that property was trash. It was horrible. It's ugly. You don't like it. You can get concessions from the seller to rehab the kitchen and the bathrooms and pay your closing costs and pay out your personal debt. That's money from the seller, and close on that property with a brand new kitchen and bathroom. Put a 2 in the chat if you guys knew that. This is why the VA loan is so dope. Now, let's just say I close at $500,000. The property is upgraded. Now, everybody put 210 in the chat. 210. Everybody put 210. 210. This is very important. Put 210. And guys, make sure you give me a follow. Make sure you follow Nick. After 210 days after the first mortgage payment, that means I pay my loan. After 210 days, I can take equity out of my property to buy more assets. So let's just say I bought the property for $500,000. The property's increased in value or appreciating, $45,000 a year. Okay. And let's just say I kept the property for 2 years and the property went up in value $150,000. I can either do a home equity line of credit, or I can do a cash out refinance with the money I didn't spend out of my pocket to upgrade the home. I use the equity position that's in the property to upgrade the kitchen and bathrooms. And when I move into that property, the property has new carpet, new kitchen, new bathrooms, completely remodeled, and I didn't have to pay a dime. That's called concessions. Okay. So put a 2 in the chat if you guys knew that. This is the reason why the VA loan is so dope. Now, you can partner with a veteran to utilize this strategy. And guess what? The VA loan has the lowest interest rates. Out of all of the loans, conventional FHA, the VA loan has the lowest interest rates. So think about it. No minimum credit score. You can buy multifamilies with the VA loan. No maximum loan amount. 100% financing. Interest rate reduction refinance loan. That means that the property doesn't even have to be at value in order for you to refinance that loan. That's the only loan, home loan that you can refinance without the property appraising at value. Guys, I'm trying to tell y'all. So think about it. Property you bought for $500,000, property goes down to $400,000. Interest rates at 6%. The interest rate went from a 6% to a 5%. I can refinance that loan and get that 5% with the interest rate reduction refinance loan and pay a substantial amount of monthly payment difference, right? Without the property having to be at value. Any other loan, you have to be 80% loan to value, meaning that the property has to have at least 20% of equity in order for you to refinance. Now, can you buy a second home business with the VA loan? You can buy a second home with the VA loan, yes, depending on how much entitlement that you have left. Let's just say you bought a property with the VA loan for $100,000 in North Carolina, where I'm at right now. And then I moved to California, and then I have $400,000 of VA loan entitlement with my VA. I would have to pay 25% of the difference. So let's just say I had $400,000 and I want to buy a $410,000 property. That the difference of my VA entitlement is $10,000, so I would have to pay $2,500 at closing to buy that property. L Pro Collection, did I answer your question? Who else has questions? Now, guys, we got 15 people here right now. Final reset, Anthony Glenn, Powell Investor. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, put a 2 in the chat. I'm going to kick it like a sensei for a couple more minutes because I got about 40 minutes before I have to get on to my next meeting. I have a meeting with Jared. Still owner occupied, right? Yes, you have to owner occupy with the VA loan. That is correct. So that means that you do have to live in the property. So who else has questions? Brian Gaston, thank you for the 2. I thought you could only get 4% of the purchase price for seller concessions. Ha! Bingo, bingo, bingo. That's a good question. Concessions and non-allowables are different, and closing costs is different. So you have concessions, which is the 4% rule. You have closing cost, which is unlimited. And then you also have the 2% rule for buying down the interest rate. So you can get 4% for concessions only, but then you can also pay closing costs. And then you also can do 2% of the loan amount for buying down your interest rate. So yes, that is correct. The 4% rule is the maximum amount you can get for concessions, but concessions and closing costs is different. Aha. And buying down your interest rate is different. So what's 4 plus 2? 6. So 6% can be used for concessions and 2% could be used for closing costs. 2% can be used for buying down your interest rate. And you can get additional money for non-allowables as well. Just depends on how you navigate the deal. Okay. All right. So hopefully I answered your question, Brian Gadsden. Does the vet have to occupy, or can I, as the partner, occupy? Okay, Eric, the non-veteran does not have to own or occupy the property. Only the veteran. The person utilizing the VA entitlement has to own or occupy. Now, here's the catch with the VA loan. Somebody hit the likes because I'm at 666. Please hit the likes. Hit the likes, and then also right now we got 6 shares. Guys, if you guys want me to keep going, you need to get me up to 10 shares right now, and I'll keep rocking out. The concierge, good to see you. Okay, right now get me up to 5 more shares, guys. Okay, all right. Who else has questions? All right, guys. Thank you guys for rocking out with me. Anthony Glenn, buy and hold investor out of sunny Southern California. This is the Winning Real Estate Show. I will go for another 15 minutes if you guys give me another 6 likes. 6 shares. Get me to 20 shares right now, and I'll continue to keep going. How far are you, Red River Ranch? I'm in Jacksonville, North Carolina right now. Okay. We had a class to come out here and teach. I have my media staff out here with me, and we've been turning up out here. These guys wearing me out. Okay. I'm tired. Okay. All right. So who else has questions? Who else has questions they would like to propose? Okay. All right. So here's the last and final thing that I'd like to talk to you guys about. Can you buy a 5-unit? Yes, you can buy a 5-unit with the VA loan, 4 owner occupant unit and 1 business unit for a total of 5 units. But it has to be zone residential mixed use. It cannot be commercial. The problem with the 5-unit properties is most 5-units are commercial. So you can buy a 5-unit with the VA loan, okay, but it has to be zone residential. Here's an example. A 4-plex and they added an ADU. What's 4 plus 1? 5. Now, they all can't be. Now, you cannot buy a multifamily, 8 to 10 units, but you can buy or build with 2 VA loans, a 7-plex. So the magic number is number 5 and number 7. A 5-plex with 1 veteran participating in the loan, a 7-plex with 2 veterans participating in the loan. But it's weird what the VA does because there's few and far between where you can find a mixed-use property, a 7-unit, and it's a 7-unit. And the way it works is this. Here's the number 7. 1 unit for 1 veteran, 1 unit for veteran number 2, 1 business unit, and 4 owner-occupant units for rental, 2 each for each veteran, okay? So that's the way the VA loan works. Now, great question, Nick. Who else has questions? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for pulling up to the Winning Real Estate Show. Okay, who has questions that they would like to propose? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want the information to the Facebook group so you guys could get in the Facebook group and download the replay to this YouTube so you guys can go back and take notes. Let me talk about what we talked about today. If you have questions, you better drop them in the chat, guys. Number 1, we talked about LLC structure. Number 2, we talked about single-family homes versus multifamily. Number 3, we talked about LLCs, S Corps versus C Corps. Number 4, we talked about how to get business lines of credit with your corporation. Number 5, we talked about the VA loan and the joint VA loan. Number 6, we talked about the interest rate reduction refinance loan. Okay. Number 7, we talked about how to underwrite a multifamily unit. Okay. How to purchase a multifamily utilizing strategies. And then number 8, we talked about winning in real estate, baby. Okay. Who else has questions or comments they would like to propose? We got 23 people here right now. What are the veterans' qualifications for the loan? 12 months, no late payments. Okay. Your debt to utilization has to be at a certain percent. Okay. And you have to have a job, your ability to repay. That's it. That's it. And if you got bad credit, guys, you can fix credit. All right. So if you're in a situation to where you have issues, set up a roadmap call with us. I put the number in the chat earlier today. Okay. What's the next question? Fearless Warrior. Thank you for pulling up. All right. So 22 people here right now on TikTok, 38 people here on Zoom, 6 people on Instagram Live, 28 people listening on Facebook Live. Who has questions or comments that they would like to propose to the stage? Who has questions? Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys pulling up. I will see you guys on tomorrow. Okay. I'll be go now. Remember, mark your calendar. Okay. Here is how you guys could reach me. Tony. Nick, can you put this in the chat? Tony, like Tony the Tiger. My last name, Glenn, Glenn, two N's, two I's, dot com. Tony, Glenn, Glenn, India, dot com. Okay, that is where you will get the Facebook group. Get in the Facebook group, the Winning Real Estate Facebook group. Guys, get in there. There's a lot of information in there. The replay will be in there. We got a free VA loan hand guide that you guys could download. And then also, we got the 9 steps to underwriting. I'm going to post today. So if you want to learn how to underwrite multifamily, I'm going to post that today in the Facebook group. And if you guys want to connect with me, that's the best way to connect with me. So I am out. I appreciate you guys for pulling up, and we will see you tomorrow.